How's it going, everybody? I am Donut. This is, of course, a Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards and trans rights supporting channel. If you're not supporting that shit, get the fuck off this channel. This is Broad City, Season 4, Episode 3, Just the Tips, which I assume has to be the hair, whether they're getting their hair, like, dyed at just the tips, or getting just the tips cut, or something. It's something a revolving hair, is my guess. Yeah, that's all I gotta say. Let's jump into it. Here we go. If you want to get the full length, check it out on the Patreon below for $4 a month. If you want to get multiple episodes ahead, you could also get that on Patreon for $4 a month. Check that out as well. Okay, very good episode. I like the dual meaning of just the tips we got going on. Even though, yeah, like, Abby's didn't really connect to that plotline too much, but it was still, something there, I mean, it was a good storyline, I guess is what I'm saying, but it wasn't connected at all. Also, very interesting that our cold open was, we can't eat of the Gramercy occult, or I think. It's also interesting that the cold open was, we can't eat at the Gramercy Society because, we're not rich and all the rich people get a key to eat in there, but we can't. Meanwhile, the whole rest of the episode is about Alana being rich. Like, I love the cold open. Feels weird that it was in this episode rather than any other episode, but cold open was, in and of itself, very, very good. This rich baby doesn't know how to eat. That line's gonna live forever in my head. So good. Alana is splurging out for the giant bed that her and Jaime are both on and still not, like, fully taking it up at all. Like, not even in terms of lengthwise, but even in terms of widthwise, they're not even taking it all up. Like, Alana says 4 people. This bed could easily fit 6 people on it, for sure. My god, it's taking up the whole room. Oh, man. And yeah, I really thought the feet were going to be a bit more of a plot point here, but it was really just a bookend joke, but it didn't really matter that much to the episode itself. Like, it was kind of the catalyst for why she treated herself, but it still wasn't, as important as I thought it was going to be there. As well as, like, Jaime's whole tip story didn't really go anywhere either. Like, we might follow up on that, but I don't know. And man, the whole, like, talk Jaime is having with the guy who's running the party is the perfect example of why Jaime should not get it cut. No, dude. I mean, at the same time, there are plenty of medical reasons to get it cut, like he has. Like, for 90% of people who are uncut, unnecessary. But there's medical reasons why you might want to, and like it does seem like he is one of those cases. But that's what makes it such like an interesting, debate in the episode. Not even like much of a debate, but just something he's questioning over the whole time, because it is like, it would make his life a lot better, but it would also just bring the like max sensitivity bar down so much. So yeah, I really get it. I get it. I understand. Actually, coming as someone who is cut, I get it. If I could go back, I would. It wasn't my choice. Mike as well. All the people who've come in to play like Abby's one-off boyfriends have been fantastic at their role of being so totally different while also being very, very similar in that they're all very put together, all living very, very busy lives and very, like, mature lives, like in the same way as Lincoln. And like it's exactly what Abby wants. It's what they like. Like, they're fine with Abby. They like Abby too. There's never anything weird going on there usually. It's always just Abby gets too much in her own head via what other people are saying that then she ruins or ends straight out her own relationships. And I mean, that was the same thing with Trey as well, even though it was a very different kind. It's fascinating to see that like happen over and over and over again, and it's happening in different ways, but yet the end result is still the same. Abby will get in her own head by what people have said and end her relationship. And Bevers is so he is both at the same time so unbelievably gay and so unbelievably heterosexual, and yet at the same time not an ounce of bisexuality, it feels. How has he hit all of those? But yet he does. Ah, like there's no human person I could relate to him to. Like there's not like, oh, Bevers reminds me of this kind of person in your life or this kind of person. He is wholly unique. He is a little gremlin demon man who appears in your life to fuck with you. And even though, like, again, how is this the same as the Bevers we saw in the flashback episode? How are they the same person? He has gone so far down in human scummery. But yet at the same time, again, he is a good friend at the same time if you put all the weird shit aside. Being there and letting Abby, you know, talk this out and really, like, lifting her up and letting her talk about it in a positive light. Because that's very difficult for her to do. You know, that's very good of him. Like, it's not good of him, it's just, like, a nice friend thing to do, you know what I'm saying? But then when that's mixed with the, yeah, and I was watching you have sex, and oh yeah, I know your name's Mike, because I heard it, and all that shit, it makes it so much weirder. But, God, I'm glad that the amount of, like, side cast we have in the show is very consistent, and we get them even more than when we were originally. Like, Jaime, Bevers, Alana's brother, I don't know, I can't, Elliot, couldn't remember his name there for a second. But yeah, we're getting, like, all the side cast continuously, and I really appreciate it. And they're not just like, yeah, we're gonna do them when we have a good idea for them. And like a lot of sitcoms, I feel like we're gonna hold off on this character until we have a good idea for them in the episode, versus rather than like, well, we have like a lot of these characters would fit into very funny roles in this other plot that's not connected to them, but it's still fun to have them come in and do like scenes and stuff. Which, again, I feel like most other sitcoms, they don't want to hire out the actor for just like a scene, you know, they want to like have it be a substantial thing if they're going to be around. So we don't actually get them as often, but in this I'm glad that's not the case. Especially with Peppers, because he makes me want to die and laugh my ass off every single time. I imagine half the idea for this episode was just, how do people with the really long nails actually do anything in life? You know, how, because they're not easy to take off, you know, it's a whole process. So like, how do they go around and do everything in life? And like, there's so much, I know there's so much culture around that of like, having a specific thing on the back of your phone, like having like a pop-out thing on the back of your phone definitely helps a lot with that, because you're not really thinking about it too much. Also, like having to use your phone in a way where you're using like the sides of your fingers, I know is a big thing with that. Like it's fascinating to me how you live your life with something like that is like it does hinder you greatly, but it is also a very striking fashion statement thing, you know, to have. So I get the appeal of it. It's something that, like, I love the idea. Also, like, the like, tactileness of it is very interesting to me. Like, I don't know why. Like, I get that aspect. I would never do it because it's so much of a process and everything like that. But the tactile sensation of having the longer nails that you can tippy tap on stuff, I don't know why that gives me, like, ASMR vibes to even just imagine. But yeah, I know there's so much shit that goes around with having to, like, just do normal shit and keeping in mind like having the long ass nails, and it gets even crazier the longer the nails are. But yeah, I know that there's a whole subset culture about that, and so many like products specifically to use for that like I imagine that was like a lot of the impetus for what this episode was. And like again, Alana has very specific ones too. Like she has the claws. Like she's not even just like the long rectangular ones. She's got the just straight up claws that come to a point that can cut and rip you. And I mean, they are good to fight. I know that too. I know that they can be a weapon. And so good to see that aspect was really, really fun. Abby's wardrobe as well, I feel like has been like from last season to this season, she has fully decided like, okay, now I'm gonna start wearing, you know, good clothes, like clothes that fit her very well, clothes that are not just like, she was very, very self-conscious and wearing just like very normal baggy-ish kind of clothes, versus in this she's wearing way more fitting clothes. And even if they are, you know, pretty baggy on her now that I'm looking at it again, they're not exactly fitting, but still they're more unique, they're more her vibe, they're more British, to be fair, which is, I guess, kind of what she's going for aesthetic wise. And yeah, I can fully relate to Elliot with the whole like, yeah, hey, do you want to come do this thing that you don't want to do, but I'll give you 2 cookies? Alright, fine. For 2 of the cookies I like, then sure, I'll do it. If I get my Scooby snacks. I have been described by them so much as the just like, he'll do it for a Scooby snack. Like, yeah, I probably will. Also, Jaime's look this episode with the eyeshadow and the giant, like, fucking fluffy crow coat, and also a skirt, really, like, the skirt is what makes that. Like, all the other stuff combined with the skirt is such a clash in a way that isn't a clash at all, if that makes sense. I feel like 90% of what I talk about in the reactions to Broad City are just how much I love the clothes. But the clothes are so good. Like, they nail it so much. Again, Abby's dress in this, not being the average blue dress that she always wears. Like, it was a really nice one. Again, very, like, British, like, Japanese-British sort of mix there. She's really going for the British look, I feel like. And yeah, I have been in Abby's position so much throughout this episode. One, in terms of, like, dating somebody for a very, very short amount of time, to then being like, actually, I don't think this is working, to then being like, okay, I didn't think we were dating at all in the first place. Oof, ow. I've been dating other people on the side, and it was exclusive. Oh, ow. Getting the, like, oh yeah, I think I'm in a very, very good relationship right now. This is like, I know how to talk about relationships because I'm in a very healthy relationship. Meanwhile, that relationship is a couple weeks old. I've been in all those positions, and yet Abby makes it so much worse for herself. Like, it is that classic, you can really relate to a lot of the stuff in this, and then they heighten it to 11, and you're like, oh, ow, I can see myself in this, and it hurts. Yeah, I'm glad we got that nice moment with Lana and Lincoln, like, really being able to reconcile their talk in a mature way, as mature as it could be for Alana. And, they really needed that, because I was worried that Alana was going to try and do some shit, or that we might, try and do some weird, like, love romantic scene sort of thing. But I'm glad we didn't have that. It was just straight up, like, Lincoln is absolutely capable of still being friends after he has dated you and fucked you and all that shit. Like, he is perfectly capable of that, very mature, can handle it amazingly. Alana handled it in a very, very bad way, but going forward, she might be able to handle this much better, because by the end of that scene, she was, better. Much, much, much better. But yeah, just having an episode where Alana was rich and got to, like, really just flaunt her wealth and everything like that. Fun episode. And now, going forward, it does seem like she's going to be more conservative with her spending, but also very, how do I put it, like, I don't think she's going to quit her job or anything like that. She might, like, do less of it, because it is, like, fucking up her feet, it's fucking up her hands, it's doing all this stuff. But, like, I think she's still going to be well off for a bit of the series, which is very interesting to have, because for the most part they've just been poor, but now they're a little bit more well off but as always with this kind of shit, when you get a job like this, it don't last too long usually. So I'm curious what that's gonna be. And yeah, Abby at her job handled very, very well. Love her new boss character. Very, very fun. Very nice middle ground between, like, not a bad person, just a very businessy person. And yeah, I guess that's basically all I have to say. We'll see if we pick back up on the Jaime plotline in the future, or what Alana's going to do about her job, and then I'll see you for that. Till then, get the fuck out of here.